Welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw-Doering, and today I normally do Real News Live with Mike Barra in the morning, but he has a little tooth situation, and so I figured everyone would be disappointed. So let's just do whatever and do it live, and we will take questions. I will take questions, talk about me and the archangels from the chat today. I don't really have any gentel. That's what we call um, information about what's going on in the world um, from the archangels, God, Jesus, you know. But I don't really have that. I've been busy. I didn't get time to meditate, and I wasn't sure we were going to do the show. So um, here we are. Thank you, guys. Give everybody a few minutes to get on here. Let's see who we got in the chat. Yeah, Erica, Nancy Burks, Liberty Justice. Oh, everybody's here. Slacker wannabe. And some of you are coming in as Facebook user. So if you are watching on a live on Facebook in one of my groups, go ahead and put your name in there. If you type in a question, a personal question for a reading. Kenneth B., Aaron, Layla, Scott, Netta Bay. Let's see, I should have my reading glasses on, but I don't. So there'll be a little delay with that. Lanny Wallace, Sandy Maynard, Angie. Everybody's here. Connie, Christine, Joan. Tom Fitton is hot. Sally, Victoria, Nadine, Connie, I said. All right, so I don't really have anything new. I mean, for the last couple weeks, I've been putting out a lot of gentel on Real News Live. You can find Real News Live on Rumble. So if you go back to the last, I don't know, 5-6 shows, I kind of line out how things are going to transpire. Some of the dates been off, apparently. But, doing my best over here. Doing my best. So hello and good morning to everyone. Let's see. So what we can do today is you can either ask me personal questions, you can anything. Just ask me anything. I'll go ahead and ask the angels and see what I get. And if I don't know, then I don't know. Let's see. Let's go back to the beginning, see if I can start here. Good morning, good morning. Tracy. Well, my temporary position at the VA, let's see, my temporary position at the VA ends 3/31. Will they offer me a permanent position? I don't think so. And I think it's your choice to resign. Because what I heard is you will resign. So I don't know what's going to transpire before then. Hopefully it's everything we've been waiting for. But I don't think so. Or at this point in time, I don't know if you get a better okay. Probably get something better by then. How many evergreen ships are stuck in the Chesapeake? 4? I heard 4. That could be wrong. Yeah, grain of salt. It could always be wrong. So just off the cusp here, I'm listening. I'm asking questions. So you ask me a question. I ask Gabriel. In my head, I hear it. Tom Fitness hot. Yeah, I knew your intel on the dollar was true. I felt huge goosebumps when you said it, and I always get goosebumps when I hear super truth. Cool. the thing is when I go into meditation, I ask Jesus, God, the angels questions. They're going to give me truth. Now, whether I hear that correctly or, it's all up at, and every psychic out there knows that, this is coming through your personal filters. If there's something you want to hear, you could easily put words in their mouth. But I'm thinking some of these times, it's like with some of the stuff that we've been getting, sooner or later we find out that, yeah, that was accurate. But when the day comes, it doesn't look like it was. It just depends on what we're being told and when. I think all of these things with the financial reset and everything is happening or has happened, but they're not releasing it to the public. Let's see. Will the left side of my head ever get better for Christine? That is healing and getting better at a very slow pace. Something you might want to try healing with me for, give it a little boost, but I do see it over time being less and less of a problem, yes. Sally, will my money hold out to the RV? You're just going to come screeching into the finish line with that one. I'd probably budget a little better if I were you. Maybe if you can, maybe try to pick up some extra here and there. Get creative. There's always something you can do for extra money. Now, don't do, anything compromising. But, like my daughter, okay, she comes over yesterday to pick something up. Faith. She's 22. And she looks at me, she goes, I hear people are, I said, how you doing with your finances? Because she's just moved out recently. And she's like, well, I hear that you can sell pictures of your feet for money. And I'm like, no, don't do that. And she's like, well, who knows? It's just my feet. They wouldn't even know who I was. And I'm like, first they want your feet. Then they want your legs, then you want your butt or something like that. Don't do that. I swear, if I find out that you're selling pictures of your feet, I just come over and go grocery shopping here. I've got enough food to last us a year. Anyway, what was happening in the Capitol yesterday? I don't know. He keeps saying something that sounds like retention, but that doesn't make any sense. Could you say something else that would make sense? I don't know. I'll have to look into that one. That's probably meditation. I need to go and watch it safely. Something big happened at the Capitol yesterday. Yeah, look into that one. Good morning. Good morning. Lots of good mornings. Tom Fitness Hot. Okay. That's Dina. Does my hubby, Tim, have gastroparesis? I don't know what that is, but what I'm seeing is an inflammation of the stomach lining inside of the stomach, and I don't know if that's what that is. But if it is, I would say yeah, and get that dealt with. Lots of inflammation going on in there. Okay, Joan. My son Isaiah is going to guitar building school for 2 months, leaving the end of April. Oh, okay. Will he be safe while he's out there? I don't know where out there is. Let me just see. Okay, so the archangels, they keep referring to this time and the upheaval and the activities that are going on as the transition. He will be okay, but he will witness the transition, is what he's saying. So, like, he'll see things. Okay. Monica, according to researchers, we are filled with more gelins without our knowledge. How is this in alignment with free will if not informed consent? It's not. Nothing divine is forced. And that'll help you along your way to tell the difference in the intent of people and their policies or whatever's going on. Nothing divine is really forced. There are consequences to actions to maintain some kind of control over society. You know, you drop somebody, you get arrested. But people ask me all the time, well, you know, if God is real, which pisses me off, how could he let bad things happen? Well, free will is a long explanation. The reason we have free will is because each and every one of us is a separation of self of God. Because God was all knowing, you know, my little story to explain how this all happens. God was all knowing, but without experience, that is not all knowing. And so there needed to be, you can't experience everything if you're just you. And there's nothing, no one to interact with. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. There's no place to do it. And so once God has a thought, there is creation. Once you have a thought, there is creation. And so there was a separation of self many times. And as you can separate. So, all right. So you got separate from self, God and mother, same thing. God, we're all God. Jesus, big piece. Then you got all of you, okay? The original souls. And then those original souls can separate themselves to be in different realities and different lifetimes. And somehow it's all happening at once, which baffles me. And I haven't figured that out yet. But in order to have the separations of self, you must have different vibrational levels. Different vibrational levels are dimensions. And because in order to separate yourself, you have to have a different vibrational level. So that is leading me to the thought that maybe once you separate out on these dimensions, you get lower and lower in vibration as you go out from the middle, out from the bullseye, okay? Within those dimensions and areas that we can create, you're going to have everything is set up. They showed me that everything is set up. Energy is always moving. Everything's set up like, so you've got your personal strand, okay, that's like a rope. And then within that strand, you've got rope, you've got all these strands of lifetime, separations of yourself. Okay, that strand goes in and out of the dimensions like an infinity symbol. The center is the highest vibrational dimension. Long explanation here, but let me see if I can sum this up to get back around to answer this question. In order to create, and in order to experience, you must create. Every thought to create something. Everything is real somewhere. And it lives within a vibrational level that it can remain in. That's why you see all these bad guys going out in the forest trying to summon up all their little demon friends and crap. They can't stay here. There's reports of some not vampires, but werewolf looking thing running around the town eating the chickens and stuff, and then it's gone. It's because somebody went out and a bunch of their friends went out in the forest, did their little incantations and their bullshit crap, and let some demon in from another dimension. Okay, well, it cannot stay within this higher vibrational dimension without a host. That's where you get into demon attachments, okay? Because they're sucking energy off of a host, or whether they're standing next to you or what, to remain in this dimension. So God could not experience everything without the freedom to do so. And that's where free will comes in. And nobody, and that is one of the first things I learned, kind of already knew, that not even God will interfere with the free will of a separation, of an incarnation, of a person, of a thing. But the dark side, who is always trying to control God and who has turned away from God and cannot create, will. And they do that in every way possible. That is why your perception is so important. Because we are creating the reality that they choose to live in. And if you are joyous and you are happy and you are vibrating high and everybody's vibrating high, they can't stay here. So they must dwindle you down. They must, even in your home, if you have attachments in your home or personal attachment, you'll see everyone in the home will slowly start to create addictions. They'll start fighting, relationships will break up, animals will die if it gets really bad, and people have no idea. But the dark side, a certain part of God, sorry to tell you, has chosen to experience being separated from that creation, and they will use humanity to do so. They will, in an effort to control God, and they think that they can take over each dimension from the outside in and control God, which is stupid, because if you take out God, there is nothing. And everybody runs around wondering if God is real, blah, 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 blah. The fact that you're sitting here right now is your proof. You get so accustomed and used to things, okay? That we don't realize that everything is a created miracle. Everything you see, your perception, your programming, is what makes things solid. Your belief in something, that this coffee right here is going to help me get through my day, which is absolutely true, by the way. And that this mug is solid is completely programming. If I was taught from day one that I entered here that, well, sometimes mugs aren't solid and everything falls right out, I would probably experience that at some point in time. So when we take a look at the horrors of the world, and they've tried to do this on every level. They put chemicals in our food. And I'm not one of those foo-foo people who just oh my God, we can't use that. Don't eat that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? You're fine. All right? I've always been that way till I started doing these DNA toxin cleansing healings with God, Jesus, and angels. And I'm seeing all this stuff come out of people from regular everyday products. And I'm like, yeah. Cereal was one of the worst ones. So when you find that we have been infected with things against our will, people have been hurt against their will. The dark side doesn't play by God's rules. But let's just say, and I don't like this part of it, but if we're going to go in this direction and that everything is housed within the body of God, is that God experiencing, separation from himself? Is that God experiencing not being bad? I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like to think like that. But just understand that they will try to control you as pieces of God. And the reason why the angels, sometimes the answers don't come. No one will interfere with God's free will, even as a separation of self, no matter how small, except for the dark side. And that's how they try to get you. Long explanation, but very important that you know that. Something I've been working on for a while. I actually got this information that when I was doing the interdimensional meditation class, Meet God, I that wasn't my intention, but it basically gave me a diagram of all of that. And everybody's, creation is like these, it looks like this big, all these infinity symbols, one after another creates this big like donut. And I'm like, well, here it is. I put it out there, and Mike Barrow was like, oh yeah, like this, and he pulls out theories that look like it, and I'm like, yeah. So there's something to that. Okay, this is one of my favorite subjects, so I'm gonna go with this, and then I'll get back to your questions. What we are aspiring to, what we are evolving into, is who we really are. And that is creators. You're never separated from God. It's you and God is actually God as you on a journey. And that's why the concept of one above another, royalty, elites, is ridiculous. They want you to believe that one is better than another when everyone is as equally beautiful and powerful and part of God as anybody else, unless they choose not to be. So life is a series of choices, one right after another. Every thought, every breath, everything. And along with every choice, there is creation. You can choose to believe this. You can choose to react this way. You can choose to drink that, eat that, be that. The way you see yourself, the way you talk to yourself, everything. Everything you've learned. And we're just scratching the surface of coming out of this programming. It's all false. When I talk to Jesus about evil, he doesn't refer to it as evil. He refers to it as lies. Lies. So, welcome to my spiritual journey. These are the things that I've been learning over the years. But if you really set your mind to something and you really believe something, that's why I keep telling you, stop listening to the liars. That's what Jesus told me. Because you're the ones who are helping them create this. That's why fear is important to them. That's with all these fearful scenarios. Oh, now we're going to have an alien invasion. Oh, now we're going to, there's giant man-eating spiders falling from the sky. Oh my God, stay inside. That's why I hate all these posts that tell you, oh my God, this is coming now. And oh my God, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. Really? Why? Because we started shining? Because you're having trouble staying here? Yeah, that's why. You're losing control? It all comes down to love. Okay? That is the basis. That is the center of everything. And love, someday I'm going to write a book about it. It's called The Seventh Element. It is the element that houses all others. It is the element of creation. And when you truly love, you cannot not create something. It's not just a fun emotion. It is the ultimate truth. And if you're on a road seeking truth, you're going to find him. You're going to find God. So that's how the bad guys can do things in this reality against our will, because that's all they really have. And then you get on to personal realities and alternate realities, and I'll explain that probably on another day. I'm just going to rattle on forever. You know, it's like, you guys, I love to do that. So let me get to your questions. Oh my God, that kills me. That just kills me. Some of these kill me. Like, I'm wondering about Mother Teresa, Liberty Justice says. Was she really into trafficking? And if they will arrest Hunter Biden, well, you know, Hunter Biden's, he's already screwed. That guy's been like, I feel like he's been somehow incarcerated for a while. I don't know if he's dead or alive. Is he dead? No. Mother Teresa, really? God. No. No, but she was into other things. Damn it. I thought that was going to be a good one. I thought it was going to be like, no. Mother Teresa's fine. She's not bad. She's not bad. Yeah, she's bad. She was into something else. Okay. Happy Friday, everyone. Slacker wannabe. I don't know if it's allergies or an energetic thing, but I feel zapped. Yes. Okay. I don't know what's going on either, but I have seen this happen over time throughout this whole war thing that's going on, is that we've got this, you get this escalation, right? And so there's this push and pull, good versus evil, you know? And if you don't think you're affected by energies, think about water. How is water affected by energies? By temperature, by everything. Everything is energies, okay? Everything. Take a look at the ways that water is affected by energies, by temperature, by everything. And what are you comprised mostly of? Water. You are going to feel the collective emotions, the push, the pull. You're not going to understand why, because everything in your life seems fine. Although, you know, God, I'm exhausted, or now I feel upset. I don't really have any reason. I'm having bad dreams. I've heard lots of comments from many people over the last couple of weeks about that. So just hang in there. Do whatever you got to do. Ride this out. We are in, I don't want to call it climax, pretty much. However long that lasts, but yeah, it's crazy out there. With this behind the scenes war. The dark side doesn't really have a whole lot of power left. All they have is you. Okay? And that's why you're seeing all these fearful posts. That's why you're seeing all these fearful scenarios. And, you know, I really feel like they don't really have much power or money left. And they're just the last few minions that are out there. There's no way they could find all the minions in positions of power are trying to stop everything from happening. It's like the last ditch effort, you know, trying to grab at your ankles while they get sucked down the hole to their bad place. And you're going to feel that. All right. When will we see more about Hunter Biden and his laptop? God, I just wish it would just I can't say it. Anyway, we're going to see more about that. The next week or 10 days, you're going to hear more news about that. Let's see. Carissa Holcomb, one of my favorite people. Should my dad, Rod Holcomb, sell his company in Minnesota? I can't tell you what he should do. That is a choice, and I can't interfere with free will. What I can tell you is ask in a different way. Would he be happy if he sold his company in Minnesota? No. It would take a great loss. I would wait. But I'm not telling you what to do. Angie Lincoln Dassner. I don't have my glasses on. The reading ones. Because they're like this big and they're like got the little bifocals on them, and I feel like an old lady when I put those on, so I'm not going to do that on live. Would a keto carnivore eating plan be good for all my autoimmunes? Yes, it'd be good for inflammation. But Jesus is saying you have to make sure that you get your antioxidants from supplementation. Because all the antioxidants you would get from fruits and things like that, you do need. All right. I think I already answered that. Let's see. Okay. Krista. Has me protecting my son from the vax ruined his chances of following his hockey dream? He's worked so hard. My heart is broken. It's just a momentary delay. You haven't ruined his life. No. There would be no playing hockey. I mean, listen, if you're a mother, let me tell you something. When I had my first child, I could hear that kid breathe from across the house. Weirdest thing ever. I had like supersonic hearing. I'd go over after a couple of weeks. I'd go over to my parents' house for a family gathering. Everybody's just talking. I'm like, why are you people so loud? Oh my God. It was like something kicks in. All right. You know when something's up. Trust your instincts. And if something made you act in such a way, and a lot of times with mothers, it's not just fear. It's not just fear. You can tell fear. Make sure you're not just acting on fear. But if something is really making you do something like that, do it. My mother used to do stuff like that, and like I remember she was psychic. She never did anything about it. She didn't really say that. It was along her family line. It was like, well, I just get feelings about things. I'm like, okay. And I remember the story was this one time, a couple times in her life. She was watering outside the window of the nursery of our house where my sister and I had cribs. We're 11 months apart. Every time she stepped in front of the nursery window, she started crying. It's watering the plants. And every time she moved away, she stopped. Well, shortly after that, they went on a vacation, and we went and stayed with the grandparents. But people broke into the nursery, pulled the curtains out, and set the nursery on fire. This is a cool story, by the way. We thought we had a ghost in the house. Pretty sure we had a ghost in the house. And it was an old man. And I remember her telling me the story all these years. And before I clued in that I was psychic, I was seeing the old man, but she never really said who it was. And then when I grew up, I was like, oh yeah, the old man. she's like, it was an old man. And I'm like, yeah, I described him. I'm like, oh my God, I've been seeing him the whole time you told me the story. But the nursery burned, had a wood floor. Everything in the nursery burned except a purple, we had these 2 Jenny Lynn white cribs in the middle of the room. She said, except a perfect circle in the floor all the way around the 2 cribs. That's freaky. And then, and the fire guy was talking to her and he says, we can't explain it. Just went out. And so that was a cool story. But anyway, she knew something was going to happen. Later on, my dad had to go pick his mother up for an emergency, a medical emergency, and my mother flipped out and said, I don't want you to go. You can't go. You can't go. She's like, I have to go take my mom and my dad to the hospital. I have to do this. And so he goes, he drives them in their car, which is some big 1970s huge metal thing. All right, heavy thing. They're on the 805 freeway in San Diego, and they get hit by a semi truck. And I guess my dad, skinny little thing, Vietnam War veteran, 6 foot tall, maybe 160 pounds, skinny, had to pull the seat. He pulled the seat, pulled the bolts out of that front seat. You know how big and heavy old cars' front seats were. Pulled it out and threw it to get my grandparents out of the back seat of that car. So, first of all, if you don't believe in any of this stuff, explain that my mother knew, and she tried to get him to not go. And skinny little dad was able to do that. And he goes, oh, it was, the doctors say it was pure adrenaline. I strained every muscle in my entire body. Like, God, that had to hurt. But he did it. That's not adrenaline, people. That's your mind. And if you, as a mother, feel so strongly about something, you act on it. So, sorry about that. You know how I go on about crap. This is why Mike's always trying to shut me up, because he knows it's coming, right? He knows I'm going to go on and explain something. I'm just looking for a question here. Hang on. Also, before I get to the question, everybody's allergies is freaking out. Now, I know we're going into spring, but up here in North Idaho where I am, the snow just melted. And I know we're getting winds up from the south and stuff like that, but it is crazy. Okay? I have never had, since this coronavirus crap, I have never had so many allergies in my entire life. My husband, too. He's having a real hard time with it. So I don't know if there's something in the air. We had a conversation about that yesterday. Is there something in the air, Gabriel? Okay, so there's microparticles in the air. I don't know if they were put there or if that's just from the winds, things blowing around. But everybody's having a hard time with allergies. So if you think you're sick, take some antihistamine and see if it helps you out. We've been doing everything, and I'm just stuffed up all the time. Will the Supreme Court nominee go through? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I hope I'm not wrong about that, but I just heard absolutely not. Are there really 777 chapters in the original Bible? And will they be public? They're more than that. What they are. So the Bible is just accounts put together in a book that have been approved and altered to inform and control society. Now, I asked Archangel Michael and Jesus and everybody about the Bible. I think it was Michael that told me the truth is in there. He said we would not allow that to be taken out. So somehow they worked through people to make sure that the truth was not taken out. That's why you have Bible studies. That's why you're supposed to, when you read the Bible, you're supposed to sit and be in unison with God or Jesus, excuse me, and say, help me see the truth here. Help me see through what's man-made and what came from you. And if you do that, it'll speak to you. But there's a lot of, think about it. What was everybody reading back then? The Bible, when they allowed you to read it. So that would be like the mainstream media today. The biggest source of controlling the population and the perception of man. And they have pulled pieces from it and dwindled it down to over and over again and rewritten things, changed little words here and there. You know how they do that. Change little words here and there. And so make everybody confused, make everybody feel separated. You know what Jesus taught everybody? Pretty much what I'm telling you right now. That, when he, I think said, I couldn't quote anything because I got terrible memory. But he said, basically, when you look at me, you look at God. If you talk to me, you talk to God. What he's telling you is, yes, I'd say Jesus is a bigger piece. He is God incarnate coming down here, which you can very do in a I don't know how to explain it, higher concentration of God, right? But he's trying to tell you that God's with you all the time, and that you are so loved, and that you could be separated, and all these things that they try to make you believe are just wrong. And of course they squash that because that doesn't bring people into churches, and that doesn't fill up the coffers, that doesn't fill up the collection plates, and that doesn't control society and give them all the power. And then they go in, and probably early on they went and corrupted the churches at a high level, and then convinced the lower level churches that they were not corrupt. And now you have what we have today. Keep love at the center and keep God at the center, and you'll find your true self, and you won't want to do any of these bad things because it's not who you really are. But yeah. Why would they tell you word for word? You don't question this. Word for word. Is it a matter of respect, or is it a matter of control? God created you to question, not him. Well, you have the right to question him if you want. It kind of makes sense to me that God gave you the if you're out here creating, why wouldn't you be able to question? Anything that limits and puts God in a box should be questioned. Anything that reduces the size of creation and the area in which to do so should be questioned. Anything that removes you and puts someone up here and you down there should be questioned. Of course, God is at the center, right? Okay, he's at the center, and we love him because he loves us, and we're all together, right? It just never made sense to me even as a child. It just never made sense to me. It's like, okay, well, God loves you unconditionally. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, it does. But if you if you get divorced, you're going to hell. Or if you, it's like, well, I mean, God probably knew why I was getting divorced. He probably watched the whole darn thing. He was there with me. Why would? But I mean, but if you don't do the right thing and do what I tell you, we're going to throw you into a fire pit of hell. Here's the deal. When you die, most people at the center are basically good and loving, and they will go to a place that matches that vibration. If you enjoy making people suffer, hurting people, if you enjoy all of that, you're not going to heaven. You know why? Because your vibration is very low, and you can't get in. And you would not be happy there, and nobody wants you there. So that's why the message has been going out for so long, to raise your vibration, because when you do, that's where love is, and that's where joy is, and that's where heaven is, and that's where God is. And that's who you truly are. Love is creation, and evil is destruction. All right, I'll shut up now. All right, let's move down a little further. Don't give me a soapbox, man, because I'll just start. All right. Did I answer that? Yeah, I did. Okay. I keep hearing truthers saying, start planting gardens. I know this is always a good idea, but is there something we need to know about major produce shortages? Well, we are in a wartime scenario. And to sum it all up for you, it may be difficult to get things. But that in itself, go out, plant a garden. Okay, well, we're living in 300 families in a 300 unit apartment complex. We have no dirt. Okay. What are we going to do? They don't have a house like me. I've got land, but you're in Idaho. First of all, I can't even plant flowers because the deer come and eat everything. And that the male dogs, I got to put everything in pots, like way up high, because they're like, I need to build a greenhouse. Anyway, they piss on everything outside. But that's another fear tactic. And that's what should be questioned in what we see. Yes, there are warnings. Yes, there are good ideas. But if somebody is coming out there like this, stay inside, or like, it's more, it's just the sky is falling. You should question that. You should say, well, why would they be doing that? Does that relate to everybody? Is that something that everybody can do? No. So we've gotten so accustomed as a society, because of programming, to remain in a state of fear, and that is exactly where they want you. Pulling out of that fear is our spiritual journey. And it's as simple as saying no. You have no power over me. That's what we're doing as a society right now. It takes a while because there's so many. And there's so many people that are so used to staying in an energetic level that is of fear and of worry and of doubt. Oh, God, I'm doing it again. Anyway. All right. If you could plant a garden, that's where you're going to get the best nutrition. Okay? When I was a kid, I was outside, I was on the pony, I was on the horse, I was sweaty and dirty, and we ate like green beans out of the garden and tangerines off the tree and apricots off the tree. We ate off of everybody's trees and the garden all day long in the summertime. And we had chickens for eggs. It was basically because my dad was in aerospace and for war industries and General Dynamics, he kept getting laid off all the time. And so we would eat off our animals in the land for a while when that happened. That was good stuff, man. I was so healthy. I was the healthiest kid ever, man. So yeah, if you could grow it yourself, do it. Now, if you're gonna get a bunch of chickens or something, and I'm just gonna and you never done that before, that's real. When you're gonna kill a chicken and eat it, all right. It's not for the faint of heart, all right. So if you can get a hold of some meat from somebody else that kills chickens, that's probably better. I remember my mom. Okay, and I'll stop telling stories in a minute. My mother, absolutely beautiful, graceful lady. She's like Julie Andrews and oh God, who's Princess Leia's mother? You know what I'm talking about. All together as one. And she'd never go to the store without her makeup on. But this woman would get out in the yard, all right? It's just dirty as hell and just do anything. She knows everything. She could do everything. And then, like, I remember this one day, never forget it. My brother just tells go kill a chicken. My brother, this big block of wood with these 2 nails. My brother, poor guy, took the chicken out there, put the chicken's head in between the 2 nails, chops it off. Me and my sister are young. I mean, like young, like kindergarten age. We're sitting, or younger. We're sitting on the hillside there, and we watch it happen. Chicken gets up, starts running, no head, starts running around the yard, slamming into the fruit trees. We're laughing, like, oh my God, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And I told my mom, I'm like, that is so morbid. Anyway, so then she goes, come here. So she's got this chicken. And she's got this opening where the head is. And now she's, I'm going to show you something. She's just all, sweet and nice and Julie Andrews. And she goes over to the faucet between the things there. And she sticks her bare hand inside the chicken, just rips all the guts out. Now, just like this. This is how you. I'm like, oh my God. Totally shocking. So now you go pluck it. She put it in a pot. So if you think you're going to raise chickens for meat, be prepared for that. It's not pretty. All right. Yeah, I saw that video of the Capitol yesterday just for a minute. You couldn't really see much because they have it all blocked off again. And there were bagpipes, but there were bagpipes everywhere yesterday. It was I'm not sure if it was coming from there, but there were bagpipes. We went out and there were guys playing bagpipes, for St. Patrick's Day. Huh. Now it could have been something. They're probably going to cover it up of something. Oh, that was a St. Patrick's celebration. What? Why? Something went on at the Capitol yesterday. Let's see. Beautiful necklace, Jen. Thank you. This is real. I don't have very many real things because I'm practical. All right. But my husband got me this, and it matches my wedding ring, which is a sapphire, and this is a sapphire. I usually only have real jewelry, which I wish I would have accumulated a lot of gold and silver over the years, but I really didn't care. If it's sentimental and given to me. That's the only time I have really expensive jewelry. Okay, Connie's in the middle of a cleanse. And almost finished with it. And will I see the anticipated result once I'm done? Yeah. But make sure you got enough fluids in you. Make sure you're not depleting yourself. continue with your supplementation. Okay, on the birthright money. I don't know when the damn birthright checks are coming. I just saw the check, okay? I was in meditation with Gabriel. I was leaving. I had already asked my question. He goes, come here, I want to show you something. I'm like, what? And it's funny because every time they do that, and they offer up something, like it's time, and they'll say like it's time, or like, oh, I want to, there's something I have to tell you. I'm always like, what? Am I going to die? Am I going to? What's happening? Something happening. Just immediately jumped to fear. No. He goes, come here. And so there was like this stone wall, half wall there. And I looked down and there's a check, like one of the big checks, sitting on the wall. And I'm like, it's hard to read things in meditation. And I'm like, what is that? What is that? And he said, who is that for? He said, it's for you. And I'm like, trying to read the amount. And I see 11. And I'm like, how much is this for? $11 million. I'm like, shut up. For what? As your birthright. He said it just like that. And I was like, really? If this is $11,000, I'm going to be really pissed. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know exactly when those are coming. I originally saw this whole financial reset and payouts and things like that happening in phases. Okay. Long time ago. Like, okay, right now, and they're going to kind of like one phase after another kind of all comes together as a Zara. But I think they kind of rewrote the whole Nasara thing to make it what they want. And I don't think it's the bad one. There was something about not the original, but the one that was written by other people that I said a long time ago, I didn't like the Clinton's hand in it. And that, like I said a long time ago, there's something in there that's bad. Okay. And so they're going to make it a good financial reset. All right. But that's going to kind of look like phases. So like, okay, now we're getting credit cards paid off, and now we're getting some kind of checks for something, and now we're getting this payback, and now your mortgages are paid off, stuff like that. Jennifer, have you ever given Mike a personal reading? When have I not given Mike a personal, and Dave, a personal reading? Did we have past lives together? Oh, I don't know. He's probably like, I was probably his annoying little sister in another life. Dave too. I have no idea. I never asked. But yes, I give those people. You know what? All right, I'm just going to tell everybody something right now. Okay. Before you ever saw me on his show, I was working with Dave. Dave had a radio show on my radio station, Beacon of Light Radio, absolutely free, streaming 24/7, all kinds of cool, neat topics and shows. By the way, Beacon of Light Radio.com. Anyway, those two would call me. I'm cleaning the toilet, right? I'm making dinner. I'm doing something. They would call me all the time before Mike's show, and I think it was when he did it once a week or something. And asked me all these questions. That is what led me into who Q is. That is what led me into all these. I said, I don't really do world predictions. I work with people individually. It's not really my thing. Well, let's just try it. What do you think? What do you think? So he was quoting me as an anonymous source for like 6 months or so before I did his show. So, and then I was like, well, you got all these cool code names for everybody else, but you never had one for me. So anyway, and then he got a reading with me. He goes, you got to be on the show. I'm like, you think? No, and then I didn't say that. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to be seen. Because I'm like, oh my God, I'm fat. I don't want to be like, I don't want to be a video. I'm a radio girl. I'm behind the scenes kind of person. I don't want to be. And he's like, okay, you can do that. And then I heard the angel say, no, it's time to be seen. And I'm like, okay. And I'm so glad I did it. It's so much fun. And I met all you people. All right, guys, it's Friday and I need to shut up and go recharge my brain by doing nothing. Leslie is here. I love that woman. She is the coolest woman. If you're not like messaging with her, you want to hear some cool stuff, go talk to Leslie. Anyway, so Leslie was told in meditation that everything would be restored. I saw myself younger, living the life I was meant to live. I assume this applies to everyone. Can Gabe tell us more about this? That is so cool. That is so cool. Nothing applies to everyone because of choice. All right. But those who choose to will have cures, devices, and things, philosophies, things available to them to help them live the way that God intended us to live. And that is coming. This is getting to that point, like with the med beds. Everybody says, oh, med beds, I'm going to get into med beds, it's going to solve all my problems and everything. Well, yeah, maybe not exactly. But as we go forward in years, we're going to see huge changes that are really beneficial to your health and everything else. Now, people get carried away and they think, okay, well, when am I going to have this transition? A couple weeks and, it's heaven on earth and nobody has emotions anymore. Everybody gets along. That is not going to happen because of free will. Okay. You're always going to have somebody who takes something to the extreme, right? They take their anger and their hate. They take their, envy, jealousy, things like that. That's always going to, because of, you have the right to think the way you want to think. But what we're not going to have anymore is this overabundance everywhere return of this negative energy numbing you, keeping you down, controlling society, the money, everything. There's going to be a huge blanket of evil lifted from this world. And we have a cleansing like this probably, I don't know if it's every couple thousand years, something like that, maybe every couple hundred years. I don't know. But it happens from time to time. It is not revelation. I asked. They said, no, that's way in the future. I'm like, okay, so that's still coming. So that makes me think that, listen, because of free will, you're never going to stop in this vibrational level, this dimension, or in lower dimensions. You're never going to stop that completely because it lives in the free will of man. So, all right. Hopefully I didn't bore you all. That's the way it goes. You asked me a question. Let me fully explain this to you so that you can remember for the rest of your life. Let me tell you everything I learned about that. So I hear Phil's doing a live tonight. I don't know. I haven't checked. That's always a good time. Do you think Trump returning before September? Well, that's a good time period. Let me see. We will have an interim time, is what I've always saw. And I keep seeing Grassley at a podium. And during that time, a lot of stuff happens. And up until that time, from now until that time. So it's like, I'm not exactly sure when exactly he's in office, but I think it's definitely before the next election, because I think on the next election is when I don't think we necessarily vote for the president. I think we're voting to fill the Congress and the Senate back up. Yeah. To fill the Congress and the Senate back up. And that's why he's been doing all this promoting for other people. He's not out there promoting himself for the next presidential election. He's out there promoting all these other people. Well, we got to get these seats filled. We got to get these seats changed. No, it's for when we fill up when everybody goes down and we fill it back up, they have the right people there. If it's hard for you to see, somebody said, if it's hard for you to see, said, well, things are happening, but it's hard to see. Well, then you need to take a step back and take a look around. Does any of this seem normal to you? No! Nothing about this is normal, and it hasn't been for years now. And for a while, we have our periods of activity that we're allowed to hear about. And then we have our dry periods. I believe it's in the quiet periods when the most is happening. I believe, okay, I was talking to Brett about Russia yesterday in the car. And so let me get this straight. So Russia's going to go in there and just bomb biological weapons labs and let's just bomb the hell out of it and just let everything go out in the atmosphere. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And in the nuclear facilities, let's bomb that too. Oh, well, there's all these children underneath it. Listen, this has been going on for a while. They went in there, they cleaned everything out, they retrieved all the information, and who knows how long those things be sitting dormant. This is the reveal of the Ukraine. That's why they say it's a movie. This is the reveal. You're not going to bomb something until there's no right next door. You're going to bomb something until it's cleaned out. Think about it. Take a step back and really analyze each situation. All the weird things we've been seeing. DC, are you kidding me? Oh, well, that's normal. No, it's not. It's not normal. It's happening, people, and we're getting really close. And everybody says that, but I'm not everybody. And I don't give crap what everybody says. I feel it. You feel it too. It's coming. So whether it's this week or next week or 3 weeks from now, who cares? I mean, it was just Christmas like yesterday. Time goes by fast. All right. Well, oh, Mike's on here. I was talking crap about you, Mike. I say that I must have been your annoying little sister in another life. All right. Is our drinking water safe? Now, I asked about that. National Guard presence within each state, county, area. There's something written that is a number one priority to protect the resources for the people when something goes down, right? Everybody has their water. Like when I lived over up north in Hayden, we had our own cute little lived beaver neighborhood. I mean, it was the prettiest place. Anyway, we had our own water district. So they would have to go around and infect a lot of places. when that happens, so the National Guard, if so they test the water. If anything's wrong with the water, they shut it off. And then they send out notices. And if everything's blacked out, then they're going to put a notice on your door. So they're quickly, I wouldn't be drinking a whole bunch of tap water right now. But I wouldn't panic either. That's another one of those things like, oh my God, you can't drink the water. There's something in the air, and it's, there's giant, dinosaurs falling from the sky. I mean, for the most part, we've been okay. For the most part. I mean, yeah, some people haven't. Some people have been very inconvenienced by this. Some people have died from. But here's what they did. They originally infected the population they wanted to infect the population with a very bad virus. It was intercepted. These vials were intercepted. They switched it out for something less lethal. Okay. Then they sent people out, like, I think it was December of 19 in certain places. You know when it was happening? That's why I hate Pelosi. Well, among other reasons. But it was when the last impeachment was failing, and she had to send it to the Senate, the articles of impeachment. She held it. Why? Because she knew that they were infecting the population at that time for the next event, and that was the pandemic. Cue the pandemic. We've lost this one. So then she sent it over. And then you see her down with the people. Have you ever seen her with the people in her area? No. To tell you all to go outside and get infected by the coronavirus. So that was an original, less lethal, respiratory, lab-created virus. And I was telling everybody at the time, listen, this is not a natural virus. It does not mutate the same way that a natural virus would do. There will not be any more variants. And so then what they did, they realized that. And so then what they did is they started naming. So they flood the borders with people from other countries who have viruses we're not used to. And then they started naming every cold and flu a new variant. It's like a hurricane, give it a variant name. And ran with that. So there's the scam. Yes, people were actually getting sick with a respiratory virus. Yes, people, but we have never tracked all the numbers every year of everybody that gets a cold. Have we? Or everybody who gets the flu. No. And when you do that, it looks like a terrible, terrible pandemic. And there will always be people that freak out, go to the doctor. Then they were hurting them at the hospitals. They're giving them bad medication. They're putting them on ventilators. And if he had pre-existing conditions, it was bad. I don't know why I went off on that, but that's what happened there. So now we are into, okay, well, this is stupid. Pandemic failed. On to World War III. And so now they're trying to usher in World War III. And Joe Biden doesn't have the right to do the things that he's going to do. And he's going to get taken out of office. And we're waiting for that. But yeah, I think the drinking water is safe. I don't want you guys to go out and drink water. Jen said the drinking water is safe and, everybody died. But I'm just saying, don't panic. You're going to get some kind of notice. They test the water all the time. There's going to be National Guard there making sure the water. Drink bottled water if you're worried about it. And, if you're going to cook noodles or something, coffee, use bottled water. Close your mouth in the shower. Brush your teeth with bottled water. You see somebody freaking out in the shower. Oh my God, I got something in my mouth. Okay. Tarot cards. Somebody's talking about tarot cards. I didn't see that original comment. Rosemary's commenting on it. So tarot cards aren't bad. Listen. I know people that read tarot cards like Susan Gretz. She's going to be on my website soon. I'm sorry, Susan, I have not put you on there. I'm really been busy and I'm a procrastinator about computer stuff. she's going to do things that I don't do for me, because there's a lot of people that come to me and ask, do you do cards? Do you do missing persons? Do you do this? I'm like, no, but Susan does. And there are two people in my whole life that I go to for readings or cleansings, and that is Susan Gretz and Marcy Howe, because I've known them for years and I trust them, and I don't just open up my energy to anybody to come along and say, oh, well, I think you're going to die next week, like scare the crap out of me. So the thing is, I know those two people are God-centered. And tarot, whatever she uses, would just be assisting. Susan is so psychic. She doesn't need cards. She does it because people like it. But I know she prays, and I know she's God-centered, and I know she's not talking to bad guys. But there are people out there that don't do any kind of protection, and they're just telling you what the cards say, and they learned it from a book, and they've got bad guys standing behind them telling them what to tell the person. And that's where you get in trouble. Okay? So you need to know who you're going to, where they're coming from. If you ask them, well, who are you talking to? Who are you asking your questions of? Who's guiding you through this? Oh, my guides, they'll say. That's like, well, who are your guides? They don't know. It's like, well, then any bad guy who's floating around, and they're everywhere, just walking in and say, oh, she's doing readings again. Let's go scare the crap out of that customer. And probably, and once they say it, you can't take it back. It's going to be in your head for a long time, and you may just create that situation. So it's very important who you open up your energy to and who you go to for readings. But they're all just cues. Stay the hell away from Ouija boards, and I don't like pendulums. Anything that gives, because if you can't see what's next to you, if you can't see what's coming or talking to you, anything that gives them the opportunity to move something invites them in. You have to be very careful. And when they invite them in, what are they coming in through? A portal. Did you close the portal? No. Okay, so you got everybody and their mother coming in through this portal for the next 15 years in your house, and you can't understand why everybody's got, is alcoholics and gotten very ill and all the animals are dying. Okay? It can accelerate to that. So stay away from that. One more question. I see Fauci now pushing the fear of another variant. I don't know why that's funny to me. I don't know why Fauci speaking right now is funny to me. Because he's in jail. All right, so I think what's happening here is they got him, all right? And they pull him out to try to push the public over the edge. And I think they're just really trying to push us over the edge so that we'll just say, no, that is it. That is it. I'm not taking any more. No, I'm not listening to him. He is bad. You are bad. I'm just pulling the whole damn thing down, right? And I think the white hats are making him do that. Pretty much. All right, guys. Well, it's Friday. I hope that you all have a lovely weekend. If I get anything about anything that's coming that you need to be prepared about, I will definitely post on Telegram. Where's my banners? Not good at this. All right, here's my website. You go to jenniferfallaw.com. You can take classes. You can get healings. You can get readings with me. Just, swim around in there and look at all the pages and stuff. I have a lot there. There's my radio station. Darn it. There is my radio station. And I did not put up. Yes, I did. This is where you want to go right now. Yes, I am on Truth Social. I am Fallawsophy on Truth Social. I am Fallawsophy on Telegram. My second to last name now. And SOPHY. Go there. We're having a ball. I mean, we have the best people in the chat over there. Everybody is so nice, and we just all support each other. And they're like my little reporters over there. They're putting so much good information in the chat that it's just like we got hundreds of posts to read all day long. So join us there. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful weekend. And I want to thank you so much for joining me again today. Bye.